Let's welcome to the Armstrong And Getty Show once again, William Lajeunesse of Fox News, who is reporting on some of the money trickling away from Medicare. Your tax dollars, you ought to care about this. William, welcome.
Hey, thank you very much.
Tell us the story, if you would.
Well, Medicare, obviously Medicare pays for a lot of things. One of the areas they call something called durable medical equipment, wheelchairs, walkers, orthotics, needles, all kinds, tens of thousands of products they pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're being overcharged. I know that doesn't surprise you, okay? And Medicare actually knows it's being overcharged. Their auditors did a study, and I'll just give you like 3 examples. A purchase price of a home oxygen tank is $600. Medicare rents them for 6 months for $7,000. A standard wheelchair, Medicare pays $4,000. The private sector pays $1,000. Internet price for a hospital bed, $1,000. Medicare pays $2,000. Okay.
Why?
I know. Well, okay. Well, actually, they set the prices. And what I'm going to get to here in the bottom line is that they pay more than they should because industry influences what they pay. And industry will go to Congress to dictate what happens. Example, last year, under Bush, but it doesn't matter because Obama's trying to do it now too, they instituted a pilot program, just 10 cities with just 10 of the most common items that are purchased. And they said, okay, let's have competitive bidding. Okay, you guys are all licensed suppliers. We need a hospital bed. You bid on it, and we'll buy in volume, just like the big box stores. And of course, Medicare is the biggest buyer of healthcare in the world.
Mm-hmm.
At the last minute, after the contracts were actually let out, the small businesses, the guys who run the durable medical equipment business in your town, the guy down at the corner, he belongs to the Lions Club or the Shriners or something. He calls his congressman, he's going to put me out of business, the big guys. Congress steps in, passes a law, and literally terminates the program and postpones it for 2 years because small business says, we can't compete with the big guys. So Medicare tries to put this competitive bidding in that's going to save you and me about 75% on average, and Congress steps in not to protect the taxpayers, but business.
I'm all for small business, pro-small business, of course. It's the vast majority of jobs in America are small business, but you have to let the market work. I mean, especially because it's taxpayer dollars. It's my money. That's just it. I mean, okay, you're right. We do understand that, but the overall, if Obama claims that he's going to pay for his reworking Medicare or his healthcare reform bill and he said this at the State of the Union, he's going to pay for it largely with savings from the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare and Medicaid.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot.
Well, there is. But the point of this story, even though I think it is very emblematic of a much bigger story, which is whatever you hear them say, by the time it actually gets written, and according to the Center of Responsive Politics right now, healthcare industry is spending $2 million a day lobbying Congress. It's not going to be what they say. It's not going to be the pronouncement on the Capitol steps. These guys are going to get in. They're going to write the legislation. You've already seen it. It's a foot thick. Who's it going to protect? Industry.
Now, that wheelchair that costs Medicare buys for $4,000 that you could easily buy for $1,000.
Correct.
Congress sets that price or what?
No, Congress doesn't. The HHS and CMS. CMS is actually basically the agency that runs Medicare and Medicaid. They set prices. They set prices for doctors. They set prices for medical equipment. They set prices for everything. Now, you and I would say, well, set the price lower. And that in this particular case, they said, well, let's just use competitive bidding.
Well, right. Let the market set the price.
Let the market set the price. And when they actually tried to do it, Congress stopped them. Yeah. Idiotic. Now they're going to try it again, and in fact, you and me had to pay money to terminate the contracts that we signed. Now they're going to try it again, not on 10 markets, and that was just a pilot program, 10 lousy cities.
Wow. William Lajeunesse, Fox News. Great report, William. Interesting stuff. Thanks.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. It's insane. It's insane. Oppose all new taxes on principle.
Different subject, same world. What's it generally cost somebody with insurance to have a baby? You have any idea? You have any idea?
With insurance?
Yeah, you got insurance.
Oh, God, we talked about this a while back, but I don't remember. Do you mean what does it cost out of pocket, or what's the total on the bill?
Well, what are you going to pay out of pocket? And that, because I just have been looking at some of the stuff, and we're the very preliminary.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed at some of the prices for various things.
Seems to me it was a couple of
Scott?
A couple of $1,000.
I don't know.
Bucks.
You've had a baby fairly recently.
Well, yeah, we did, but my wife also works at the hospital where we had it at, so we got
Employee discount?
She got a sweetheart deal?
Oh, you have no idea how sweetheart this deal was.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for sharing.
But I think the couple, I heard a woman tell the guy next to us when he paid out $800 for the visit.
But I'm just looking at some of the costs that we're getting bills for, and some of it's covered by insurance and some's not. It's insane. I mean, it's just, where do they come up with these numbers?
Well, and part of it, as doctors will tell you, speaking of Medicare, is that, if you get your arm sawed off and you need it sewed back on, Medicare will pay your doctor $25. And if they want to see any Medicare patients, they'll take it and damn it, and they'll keep their mouth shut. And so then the doctors who take a loss on a lot of this stuff through Medicare have to jack up the bills to other people to keep their head above water. So Medicare's got such massive buying power, when it comes down to paying physicians, they underpay them. So it really is complicated. There you go.
I guess the reason I brought it up is you care, but you don't care if this stuff is overpriced when insurance is covering it.
Right.
In principle, you care, but in your pocketbook, okay, so the oxygen tank is $7,000 and it should be $600. Well, insurance is picking it up. Yeah. But if I'm going to have a bill left over at the end, say for having a baby, I got a couple of $1,000. Should I be looking at some of this stuff in a private way? Should I get to it? Okay, if you're going to charge me, I don't know, $1,000 for this pillow, should I go out and buy one myself?
You probably, yeah. Now, I would like to see that. I would like to see that done. Yeah. Jim from Galt. Hey, Jim, you had a baby 4 months ago?
Yeah, we had a baby. Beautiful, healthy boy.
Fabulous.
It was $500 out of pocket. We were with Kaiser, and what Jack just said, in principle, I guess we don't care what the price was, because I don't know what the total bill was, but I know we paid $500.
Yeah, see, we all ought to pay attention to the total bill, because it might have been $25,000 or something.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Another Galtian in the world.
But I just wonder, if you go into, I don't care what it is, a gallbladder, the broken ankle, having a baby or whatever, is there some stuff that I ought to provide myself? Am I paying $500 for a splint that I could buy for $5 somewhere?
Right. That's worth asking. Bring your own Tylenol.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll change my own sheets. Whatever. Yeah. I happen to go to the CVS pharmacy and get a bunch of, the gauze for my wound. So you get out of here with your $80 gauze. Mm-hmm. I got some $1 gauze right here. It looks gauzy enough for me.
Will they let you do that?
I don't know. Here's Jim in Fairfield. Probably not. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. What's the story, bub?
Hey, my son was breached. It was about 7 years ago, and the total bill on the insurance was like $35,000, and it was $1,000 out of pocket.
$35,000.
See, in inflation-adjusted money, it used to cost you like $175 to have a baby. Mm-hmm. A complication-free delivery.
Right. It was. The C-section thing obviously complicated it further. We were in the hospital my wife was in the hospital for 3 or 4 days.
Did you see any of the itemized breakdowns on some of that stuff?
I did. I didn't really pay that much attention. What I really noticed was the bottom line, and it was in the 30s. I don't remember exactly what, but it was in the 30s.
A lot of money.
Yeah. All right, Jim. Thanks for the info, my friend.
Take care, guys.
Thanks.
And so, if you got no insurance, you don't pay anything, right? You just show up at the emergency room with your wife having a baby?
Or they hit you with a bill for $35,000 and you plead hardship and you work something out. And, Although, if you're perhaps someone whose English skills are not so good and you're, maybe you're not a homeowner and you move a fair amount, they'll never see a dime.
Right.
You'll pay for it. Your insurance company will.
I'm going to pay attention to
you will. Hell, through your premiums.
I'm going to pay attention to the itemized costs when the bill finally comes.
Please do. Bring it in.
See some of that stuff, where you're paying, $800 for a blanket. That sort of thing.
When we see smelling salts for father, we will mock you.